Hey there. Welcome to the New You Life Pulse podcast, where members go to get a pulse on the heartbeat of our incredible community. New You Life is the hormone health company developing transformative products that challenge the way you age. The Pulse features rising stars, leaders in the field, and insights from our leaders at headquarters. Each Pulse podcast is designed to help you become the best version of yourself by keeping you dialed in, inspired, and motivated. Are you ready to be the best you? Now, let's listen to the Pulse of New You Life.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pulse Podcast. Another episode we have for you queued up here today. My name is Brian Cameron, Senior Director of Global Product Strategy, and I'm here with Dr. Giselle Batcheller, an esteemed member of our Scientific Advisory Board. Dr. Batcheller, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be here with us.
Oh, delighted to be here.
We have so many people that tune into the Pulse Podcast. They see the video, they watch the audio. We're really excited to kind of dive into the world of collagen, if we could dub this episode something like that, right? We have a lot to talk about, and I know you have a lot of expertise to share with us today. Let's just start with a couple questions. I think we want everybody to get to know you a little bit better. So could you tell us a little bit about your story, your educational background, kind of how you came to run this clinic?
Awesome. Yes. So years ago, I started off in nursing school at Georgetown University. From there, I went to study dental medicine and dental surgery at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Before that, I actually
That's the Tar Heels, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. Before that, I actually did graduate work in public health. And after that, continued my education and did a naturopathic medical doctorate. When I moved to Utah back in 2015, I expanded my expertise to include things like smart blood concentrates, which expanded my practice into regenerative aesthetics, as well as regenerative medicine, joint health, and these kinds of things.
That is a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And I say that because that's really impressive to have that type of, and I say this sincerely, that breadth of background. Overall, it sounds like you've wanted to help people.
I love helping people, and it's truly my passion to address the health of the whole individual, not to just look for a Band-Aid for something, but to really consider the full body wellness. Okay,
so let me ask you this question. When you're addressing how do you even start with that? When you have somebody come to you and they have call it a condition or something that's wrong, they feel something's off. How do you first and foremost start to address their issues?
All of my clients come in and they begin with a consultation, and we talk about things that they can do at home. That's one of the first things that I discuss with them. I also talk about technologies that I have available in my office to support that, but it's my belief that what you do at home, what you do on a regular basis, the way that you nourish yourself is very important and is foundational to your success and wellness across the board, whatever your goals are, whether they be aesthetic goals or they be wellness goals, whether you have pain or some other condition that you want to address.
That's a really cool approach. I like to actually start at home because that's where everyone spends the predominant amount of their time, right? We are sitting here in your office in Park City, Utah, and there's a lot of equipment in here. Mm-hmm. Just to ask a couple questions about your approach, because you're on our Scientific Advisory Board for a reason, right? You have a very innovative approach to wellness that obviously includes things like products that we'll get into here in just a second, but other methods as well. How do you marry having product with maybe process and technology to help address someone's issues?
Well, like I say, I start off with a consultation and I review what nutritional components are contributing to the person's wellness as they present initially. And I make recommendations based on that. And I have found that really bolsters the result. It really boosts what we're going to be able to accomplish together. So I strongly recommend that they look at diet, they look at vitamins, they look at supplementation, and that's where everything begins.
Do you find that most people are lacking in their supplementation or just in their diet as a whole?
So, I mean, we are living, in this modern age.
It is a very weird modern era. I'll say that.
So lots of things are processed, soils are depleted of a lot of basic and very important minerals. So even people who think that their diet is really, really great could use some support in that realm. So definitely, and I live in Park City and my practice is in Park City. I do have people come from all over the country to see me here, but the general population of Park City is a very wellness conscious population. Nevertheless, yeah, I would say that there's always or almost always room for improvement on the nutritional front.
I love to hear that. I mean, when we talk about the way, from a hormone health story, New You Life being the hormone health company, when you hear us talk about that, we talk about kind of a really simple, and I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but a simple understanding of how hormones function in the body in relation to when you compare it to construction, right? At a construction site, you have people who do the building, you have materials that show up, and then you need a blueprint. And we kind of speak of hormones as that blueprint that help the body, the workers, the cells know what to do with materials, right? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that you talk about soil depletion and basically a lack of the materials, because we all have the cells in our bodies, right? Mm-hmm. But it's those materials that seem to be lacking in a lot of areas. So, I mean, let's dive into the product then, or maybe not the product, but collagen as a whole, right? So when we talk about Somanite, we talk about the first and primary benefit is IGF-1 production, that hormone, insulin growth-like factor 1 production, and that helps with that cellular recovery, right? But that comes, the Somatech blend in Somanite, one of the primary ingredients in it is collagen. And that's what we're talking a lot about today. So, I mean, if you can help us understand a little bit about the functions of collagen and what collagen can do for the body, I think that'd be really great for our viewers and listeners to understand that.
Yes. So collagen is so important for so many functions of the body. So my business is called Wellness and Aesthetics. So whether you're looking for something relating to your health and wellness, maybe you have pain, maybe you have joint function that's not your ideal mobility, or you want to have stronger nails or more beautiful skin, all of those things are going to be related to collagen. And as we get older, we have less collagen and we produce less collagen. So collagen is something that I recommend to all of my clients because I do have people who come in seeking support for joint health as well as the aesthetics. So it's supportive of all the things, and that's a beautiful place to start when you're looking for either wellness or aesthetics improvements in your life.
That's really cool to hear. For those of you, for those of our audience out there that don't fully understand how collagen works within the body, you just mentioned that our body produces collagen, but we can also supplement with collagen. Can you tell us a little bit about how collagen is produced in the body? Because you said as we age, that process kind of goes down and our body stops producing as much. Mm-hmm. How does that happen within the body?
So in the body, you have cells that will produce collagen. And one of the main things that I do in my practice for wellness, for aesthetics, so I do a laser procedure for airway. I also do laser procedures that are kind of like facelifting without any kind of cutting. And when my clients ask me, or when I'm training other doctors and they're asking how this technology works, what I'm doing with these lasers is to wake up fibroblasts so that they can produce collagen.
So when you're younger, do the fibroblasts produce collagen just kind of at large? That's what they do. That's their job, right? Mm-hmm. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes. So when you see babies, when you see teenagers, you can see that they can smile. They
with
can
their
make
beautiful skin.
All kinds of faces, right? Yeah. And their faces don't freeze like that, even though, parents tend to say you shouldn't do those faces because it'll freeze, right?
Get stuck, yeah.
So, it works a little bit more like memory foam where it's bouncing back. And then as we get older, we do produce less. And
is that because the fibroblast activation goes down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So things just, as we get older, things tend to get sleepier, right? And you have more that you need to repair. And your body is very intelligent and it wants to focus on whatever the most important thing is. And then there just becomes more to focus on as we get older. And so, yes, so that's one of the things that does decline as we get older. Typically about your mid-20s, you're going to see that reduction start to happen, and then it compounds over time, so that with the decades that follow, that's when you really start to notice.
So when you say compounds over time, that's very interesting to me, because when we talk about Somanite and we talk about kind of who could use that product, would you suggest to anybody who's 18, 19, 20, in their young 20s, who wants to be prepared for when that moment comes, when their fibroblasts and collagen cells get a little sleepier, as you say, which we'll touch on sleep here in just a sec, would you recommend them to be supplementing with collagen, not so much as a preventative, but more in preparation for that? Or what would be your recommendation?
So nutrition is important throughout your life, and having appropriate nutrition for your age is an important thing to consider. So depending on the age, the recommendation would be different, but it's always good to have great nutritional support. And you can never go wrong by having good nutritional support.
That I can absolutely agree with that. Right, I love that. I was just thinking about the sleep aspect of it, because there are a lot of people in their early to mid to late 20s. I mean, frankly, I think lack of sleep is kind of an epidemic, right? Like, the world hasn't gotten slower. What type of and I don't want to frame it as a detriment, but just to say the word detriment, can a lack of sleep be very detrimental to your body's ability to produce collagen?
Oh, absolutely. Sleep is so important for your entire health and wellness regimen. That's the time when your body is taking the time to repair and recover. So sleep is very important for everything, and aesthetics as well. So if you want to look good, you want to sleep well. If you want to feel good, you want to sleep well.
Oh, I love to hear that, because I feel like it's one of those things where you can tell when you don't sleep, you don't feel well. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Do you find, within your clientele that you work with, that there is a general lack of sleep, just out of curiosity, or is that a question that you probe with them too often?
So sleep is something that I have clients who come in for obstructive sleep apnea. And so even those people who may not be aware that they are waking up in the night do. In the sleep apnea case, you're waking up a lot of times in the night and you're just not conscious of it. So there are those people who know that they're going to sleep later than they should and not even giving themselves the opportunity to sleep well. But all of those things relate to, in some cases, it's a decision to go to sleep and give yourself the time, and that's important. But even with sleep apnea cases, obstructive sleep apnea cases, we know now that is something that relies on your body having good immune support and good cellular health and wellness. So we used to think that obstructive sleep apnea was only obstruction of the tissues, which again relates to collagen. Yeah. When I'm treating sleep apnea with the laser, I'm waking up collagen production, but it's not just that.
So when you say you're waking up collagen production, so there's collagen, again, to kind of go back and revisit that, there's collagen production that happens in the body, but there's also supplementation with collagen, right? Mm-hmm. Why would somebody want to supplement with collagen?
Well, so our bodies produce less as we get older. We have less collagen to work with in our bodies. So that is something that I recommend that all of my clients do, that I recommend across the board, because having that collagen supplementation gives your body more to work with in terms of the repair that you need in your tissues. So let me ask you this. Does collagen then act as kind of those building blocks for the workers to use? Is that, am I understanding that correctly? Yes.
Okay, so just another follow-up question to that, because I'm so curious about this collagen, the importance of it, because it sounds like is an extremely important building block in your body as a whole. What happens if you don't supplement with collagen and get that crucial protein?
So as we get older, if you're not doing something to nutritionally support the loss of collagen, which is going to happen naturally, you will see issues throughout the body. You'll see the joints suffer to a degree. You'll see skin, hair, nails. All of these kinds of things are relating to having a healthy amount of, all of your cells being healthy, but specifically collagen is this amazing connective tissue that's important for supporting your joints, and it's important for supporting all of your connective tissues. It will be something that you will see in the face and facial aesthetics. So a lot of people look to facial aesthetics. I mean, that's a huge industry, facial aesthetics. And ultimately, what we're looking at when we see a wrinkle or typically something that someone doesn't like about their face, it's that there wasn't collagen there to support that not happening over time. So collagen is something that you will see throughout the body. Functionally, whether you're an athlete or whether you just want to be able to move well, that's important.
One word you just said earlier was restore, I think it was. So, let's say somebody has missed out on supplementing with collagen a lot in their life. If they start taking collagen now, right, in their 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s, what types of benefits would you expect somebody to see if they feel like, oh, well, maybe I missed out on it because I should have been doing this in my late 20s and 30s and I didn't, but I'm here 40s, 50s, 60s. If they start it now, what type of benefits would they likely see?
So the first thing that you'll see when you ask about seeing versus feeling, you'll see it in your face. I've seen it with my clients when they're supplementing with collagen. So this is awesome that you can look in the mirror and you can see that you're being supported in your collagen production there.
Is that just healthier skin? Is it less? Is it the wrinkles kind of? I mean, yeah. What would someone expect to see with collagen in their face?
So of course, I'm often using it in conjunction with my treatments. And for a while in my practice, I was focusing more on what I did instead of the supplements. When I started adding collagen supplementation to my recommended regimen along with the treatments that I'm doing, I'm seeing better results. They're noticeably better.
That's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's very exciting to see. And it's wonderful to empower people to take charge of their own health, right? I love to be able to get them to the next level, but I love for them also to have a way to support what their goals are at home. But that's just one place. So seeing it in your skin is one place, and that's a wonderful place. Everybody loves to look healthy. They love to have a healthy glow. Who wouldn't want that? But also just in your functionality. Moving.
That's a big one. That's a big one as you age. Functionality is huge.
Yeah. So you're moving better and you're feeling better. The better that you move, the easier it is to do the things that you know are important, like exercise, right? If you're not feeling well, not feeling like you can move well, you're going to be disinclined to do those things that support your wellness there.
I love that because bodily function then kind of precedes the overall health and wellness as well. I love to hear that. One thing we actually say with Somanite is it's beauty and function in a bottle. And that happens because we have this tri-collagen nanopeptide matrix, which we can talk about here in just a little bit. But I mean, let's keep going with just another question on the collagen. What types of tissue? I know you kind of covered it earlier, but just so everyone has a pretty clear, message on this, what types of tissue does collagen support?
It supports your connective tissue. It supports your cartilage. It supports your joints. It supports your skin. It supports everything that connects all of your organs. It's just supportive systemically.
That's really, I mean, systemically, that's a big term because, if you're going to supplement with collagen, understanding that it supports the entire system that's a pretty big deal. Let alone your body's largest organ in your skin.
Yes. Right? Yes.
Okay, so I mean, let's go back to that sleep factor because one of the primary things that we have in with Somanite is sleep support, meaning the product can help your body get to a very restful state so you can go to sleep and stay asleep. It's not a melatonin, which is really important to note that Somanite does not give your body melatonin. It helps your body produce its own melatonin so you can sleep to get that restful rejuvenation. Supplementing with collagen right before bed, which is kind of atypical. Most collagen on the marketplace you take in the morning. What type of benefit might that have for somebody supplementing at night right before that restorative window?
I love that concept because as we mentioned earlier, the nighttime is when your body is taking the time to recover and to rejuvenate, to repair what needs to be repaired and build what needs to be built. That's your primary opportunity for recovery. So doing this at night, I think, is a great and highly innovative, wonderful idea. And I love that about it.
Okay, so we just talked about this sleep window and this recovery that happens. The primary benefit we talk about with Soma Night, remember, it's not called Soma Sleep, it's called Soma Night because nighttime is that crucial window, like you just said. And the hormone that we're targeting is IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, like we've talked about. What are some of the benefits of having, this HGH to IGF-1, that conversion process supported, and having more IGF-1 in your body? What are some of the benefits of having, healthier levels of IGF-1?
So cellular health and wellness, repair, recovery, and growth. So what you need to build in your tissues, what you need to repair in your tissues, it all begins with the cell. So if the cells are healthier, if they're producing the things that they need, then they can recover.
I love that because that kind of talks about the hormone signaling. Hormones are great messengers, right? And then giving the building blocks. Now, when you look at this recovery process that's happening, we don't really force the body to do anything. Our company's mission has never really been, let's take this almost let's take this pharmaceutical approach and force the body to do something. It's been more kind of an invitation to invite the body to do what it's good at. And I know you have some thoughts and kind of align with that principle. What's your approach to the body in that front?
Yeah. So everything that I do in my clinical practice is with a fundamental understanding and appreciation and belief in the power and the miracle that the body is. It wants to function well. It wants to repair well. It wants to heal well. And so trusting in that, you can turn on certain switches, just like I was saying I do with my laser, right? And you can help sort of tap on the cells and say, we need to do this or we need to do that for our own well-being. And so supporting that in a natural way with nutrition, the way that the body wants it to be, is a beautiful thing.
That's incredible. The body is truly a miracle. I mean, when you look at what it can do, it's pretty phenomenal. Like while you sleep, these processes just happen.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about a question about bioavailability. We know that bioavailability is a big deal. And one feature we've employed with Soma Night, as many of you know, is this nanotechnology, microencapsulation, if you will. When you're supplementing and you're recommending supplements, how important is bioavailability to you and what you're recommending?
It's huge. If you take a supplement or even a food and you're not taking it or, chewing your food appropriately, right? If it's not available for your body to absorb, then you're not going to have the benefit that you would have had if it was available for your body to absorb. Because bioavailability is basically relating to, is the body going to be able to take this in and do with it what you want it to do? And so that's a beautiful thing to consider. And it's an important thing to consider.
I mean, the body is powerful and it knows when to accept and reject things, which is kind of another cool principle. So I guess, the bioavailability is really, really key to making sure those nutrients are absorbed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at this bioavailability portion, now kind of transitioning that to the sources of collagen. So we have 3 sources of collagen in Soma Night. We have bovine, marine, and chicken collagen. How important is it to have these different sources and then different types of collagen?
So different types of collagen and different sources of collagen are going to have their own realm of strength and things that they're going to support. So it's similar to, fruits and vegetables at the grocery store. It's beautiful to have a variety because they'll support different things. They'll hold different nutrients, for example. So that would be the similar answer I would give you in terms of looking at collagen and looking at different types of collagen and different sources of collagen.
That's powerful. I mean, how often do you see multiple sources of collagen in one product? Is that something you see very often?
It's not always considered, right? I mean, bioavailability isn't always considered, right? Having multiple sources isn't always considered. And this is the first time that I've heard about something considering the nighttime as a time to really target focusing on what we're actually trying to achieve here, which is having this product, the collagen, in particular, coming in and being able to take it in, absorb it, do what we want to do with this product.
That nighttime window that you're talking about, and I know we've kind of talked about that a lot today, but that really is so important because no one does that. In our market research, we actually saw a lot of collagen, then there were collagen peptides, and we have this nanopeptide, right? This microencapsulated peptide. So that kind of sets this product apart, higher bioavailability, if you will. But then also we've seen a lot of just single source collagens. And I mean, do you see the benefit of, how would you explain the benefit of having, 3 sources of collagen, beauty and function in one bottle together? What does that deliver for somebody who's using the product?
Well, again, from where I come, my business is wellness and aesthetics. I don't feel like you can have a beautiful look without feeling well, right? And
that's a great point, because a lot of times when you feel good on the outside, if you don't feel good on the inside, it's just your life's not complete. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. That's a great point.
Yeah, well, your facial expression will be different, right? If you're wincing in pain, that's going to be less beautiful, than if you're feeling well. So to me, those two go together. They absolutely go together. You're going to look your best when you're feeling your best. And when you're feeling your best, you're going to look your best. And regardless of where you're putting your weight, I mean, certainly the aesthetics industry is huge, right?
Oh, yeah.
I love for those things to go together. I love to see people have more functionality, to have less pain while they're looking better. I mean, that's just a win all the way around.
I love that. I mean, especially when you look at the IGF-1 being that primary, the recovery as the primary benefit, the secondary benefit being all this connective tissue, the skin, the hair, the nails, the joints, all that function and the beauty in a bottle. And then the third benefit we talk about with this product is sleep, because sleep is the vehicle by which those things come, as we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. So let me ask you this. What should our viewers and listeners be avoiding to, avoid kind of the detriment? Is there anything that breaks down collagen in the body? Or, I mean, obviously a lack of collagen in your diet would do that, but is there any foods people should avoid?
Well, every individual has their own unique biome. They all have their own unique need of nutrients. And so I don't know that I could give a great answer to that question as far as what to avoid. I would just say you always want to focus on optimizing your nutrition. And I don't know that I have a great answer for that.
That's fine. That's fine. I was just wondering if there was anything that that we should be avoiding that could be more detrimental to collagen breakdown, or that could increase.
I mean, the modern diet, really, but
the modern diet is tough. Sugar obviously it can increase a lot of inflammation. Do you see a lot of inflammatory issues that if people were to maybe cut that out and then start adding in healthier building blocks like collagen and other nutrients, do you see that pretty typically? Yeah,
well, a lot of us in the United States have too much sugar in our diets, right? Some of the things that I'm noticing about this product is, so there's cinnamon in it, which also helps with blood sugar levels, regulating them. But also turmeric, which is also wonderful anti-inflammatory. So, it's nice to recognize what our modern diet is doing and to try to do our best to make that diet better. But it's always nice to have this support, because functionally, a lot of people won't be able to avoid those things that are just so readily available and so common in our diet.
That's an interesting principle, readily available, right? There's a lot of things that are readily available that aren't super great. And I do love how this product obviously is now readily available.
Yeah.
But one of the ingredients in there that I did want to ask you about is hyaluronic acid. Mm-hmm. Do you recommend that? Do you use that within your practice, or what benefits might you see from that ingredient?
So hyaluronic acid is something that holds many-fold its own volume in water. Water is huge for wellness. It's also huge for aesthetics. It's also huge for lubrication of your joints. So hyaluronic acid is wonderful for the tissues, and it actually is something that I recommend in my practice and that I use clinically.
That's awesome. So what benefit, I mean, are you like, what would be the primary benefit? I guess that's a better way to phrase it. What would be the primary benefit for somebody that supplements hyaluronic acid? What would be the first thing they might notice? Or does that differ per person?
So, I mean, are you talking about, like, you're pointing to your knee? So I'm sort of wondering if you're feeling
well,
like
you just
might
mentioned
feel
joints.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking joint wise, is that kind of where they might feel that better functionality?
I mean, systemically, water is so important everywhere. In every cell of your body, water is huge. And so having something that helps your body to maintain that hydration. I mean, collagen, all of these tissues are hugely supported by water. Water is also very cleansing for the body. That's how we are able to get things rinsed out. You know, cellular metabolic waste, you need water to come in and to rinse that out. But also from the aesthetic side, holding the water there in your skin is going to have a better hydrated look to your skin. It's meaningful for function. It's also meaningful for beauty.
So it sounds like when you have all these ingredients in one place, you really do kind of get this broad spectrum, 360 degree approach to healthy aging.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Like I say, it's healthy, it's health based, it's wellness based, but you also have this aspect that will address just looking great too.
I love that. So let me ask you this last question. What is your favorite aspect about Somanite? It can be an ingredient, benefit, whatever it might be. What's your favorite aspect about it?
Well, I love that I'm going to probably give you a few. I love that it's a nighttime product. I love that the approach is coming in and considering what we want to accomplish and when is the best time of day to accomplish that. I love that it has an anti-inflammatory natural turmeric component. I love that it has a few different kinds of collagen to support different aspects of building collagen in the body. I love that it's supporting the IGF-1. I love that it's supporting cellular health and wellness, supporting recovery at a time and building at a time when your body is ready and wanting to do those things. So I love that it's supporting wellness. I love that it's supporting aesthetics. I love that you will feel better when you're healthier and you will look better when you are healthier. I love that it's supporting sleep, which is that alone. If you could just support sleep, just that part, you have a huge leg up on your wellness and your aesthetic.
Well, I mean, you said it yourself. Wow, that kind of sounds like the ultimate of wellness, right? Is being able to support multiple different aspects. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Batcheller, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on the Pulse Podcast. I'm pretty sure we're going to have you back and we're going to talk about some other products as well, because this has been an enjoyable conversation. I, again, really appreciate you taking the time to be us here today.
A pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Okay. Tune in to the next episode of the Pulse Podcast, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the New You Life Pulse Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, for more information, please visit our website, newyoulife.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the New You Life Pulse Podcast.